Hi, my name is Mike DiMauro, and I'm team captain of the Mike's Pals for Walk Now for Autism Speaks in Orlando and Tampa. I did a speech back on September 22nd, 2011 for the Walk Now for Autism Speaks kickoff party at the Embassy Suites in Altamonte Springs, Florida. They wanted me to speak about how adults with Asperger's and autism go through daily life and how I was inspired to be involved with Autism Speaks. When I was a young kid, my parents had a hard time figuring out what I had. They took me to Springfield and Boston, Massachusetts for testing. They didn't have the tools that they have now to figure out if I had Asperger's or autism or whatever. They thought I had like developmental problems or something like that. When I was 3 years old, I went to Children's Language Institute in Ludlow, Massachusetts, and I was there until I was 13 years old. Then I went over to the Collaborative for 2 years. Then I went over to Gateway Regional High School in Huntington, Massachusetts, and I had mainstream classes. And I graduated from there in 2003. In 2003, I was working at Six Flags New England in Agawam, Mass, and I was having a problem. Now, I was over there doing rides, and there was a problem, and I was trying to tell the guests or ask them to move to another part of the ride because it was unsafe that where they were going to sit, and they thought I was yelling at them, and they fired me. Now, I didn't know I had Asperger's back then or whatever. I still didn't know what I had. In February of 2006, I went over to Bay State Medical Center in Springfield, Massachusetts, and I had some testing done. And a month later, the doctor diagnosed me with Asperger's syndrome. My mom went on the computer and did the research on it before we had the appointment to tell me what I had. So now, at first I didn't know what it was. So I was trying to figure out what is autism, what is Asperger's. I even asked one of my coworkers at Domino's Pizza at the time what if I was thinking if I ever thought about or if I ever thought outside the box. And he was like crazy. He thought I was crazy for me asking that, you know? Anyways, in 2007, I heard a news report about how this author, he grew up with having Asperger's, spoke at Elms College in Chicopee, Mass. His name was John Elder Robinson. He wrote the book, Look Me Into the Eye. And I gave that book to my mom for Mother's Day one of the years. Now, in 2008, I was looking up the information for the autism and see if there was any walks or whatever. And oddly enough, I was doing the Disney College program down in Orlando, Florida. And they had a walk going on. So I did their walk when they had it. Now, in 2009, The Amazing Race featured a team with someone that has Asperger's syndrome. The team of Zev and Justin was that team. Zev has Asperger's syndrome as well. So I know what he was going through, and I can relate to how he went through problems in his life and all. So they did a great job racing around the world twice. And I was thinking, if they can do that, and if John Elder Robinson can write a book about his experiences, why couldn't I get involved with Aspergers and Autism Speaks and all that. So in 2010, shortly after I moved from Agawam, Massachusetts to Davenport, Florida, I went to the kickoff party for Autism Speaks for the walk up in Altamonte Springs again. And I ran into the walk director for the Orlando walk, and I asked her if I could join the committee and have some information, and she welcomed me onto the committee with open arms. And that's where I met some of the great friends that I have today. Now, I was on the committee for the November 2010 walk, and I had a fun time. Then I decided to do it again for 2011, and I did I volunteered for the Tampa walk back in April, and I hope to be on the committee for that one for 2012 as well. It's been fun doing that. Autism Speaks. Now, what I experience through a daily life is at work, there's some problems I can't deal with. I can't deal with the stress. I get stressed out if there's a lot of people at my work, or even with the arcade games. They are so loud sometimes that it drives me nuts, and I can't focus on my job. And that bothers me. Now, outside of work, I've been doing vocational rehab. I've been doing some testing for them, and I'm hoping that they'll help me find a job real soon. And then I also been doing UCF Card Knights Pals, which is an organization for us that have Aspergers and autism, or anybody on the spectrum, and we go out once a month and we do like golf and bowling and movies, and we have a fun time, and I met some great friends through there. I hope that I will see you on November 12th at the Orlando Walk. And if you do want me to come and speak at like a school event or at an autism event around the state of Florida or anywhere in the country, please let me know. I'm on Facebook, I'm on YouTube. So I hope you enjoyed my speech, and I thank you for watching my speech.